Hi guys, as we are doing a video recording, we are doing it under the COVID-19 regulations and we are actually 1 meter away and we have taken our temperature and we are healthy and well, so we're good to go. Hi guys and welcome to another episode of Lifing Up 101. Today we'll be talking a little bit about insurance. So in my opinion, love it or hate it, you should not live your life without it. Okay, that's my opinion lah. I'm not an agent, so I can say that I'm on neutral ground and I believe in it. So today we are privileged to have Yuan with us. So Yuan is actually a dear friend of mine who is in the profession, in the industry. And yeah, so Yuan, maybe you might begin with sharing with us how you got into the finance industry.
Okay, so perhaps just to share a little in terms of my background, I was a mid-career switch, so I was working in 3 other different companies before joining the industry. So ultimately, at the end of the day, when I was working, recalling back when I was working in the other 3 companies, big or small, I realized that beyond just having the culture, the learning, the progression, ultimately what I was seeking for my career was more of meaning and purpose. Yeah, so back then I couldn't exactly see it in my 3 other companies. It was just doing my best, being a diligent worker, and just trying to work up the ladder.
So very immersed in your job role.
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
never thinking about yourself.
Yeah. So eventually I realized that, oh no, after working for so many years, then I reached a point where people quite about the career crisis, is it?
Yeah. Now there's like mid-career, right? Then I learned from my friend that there's this thing called quarter career crisis, quarter life career crisis. I was like, what? 25 years old, you got crisis.
Yeah,
but
so,
anyway.
So it was a crisis that I had to deal with, right? Yeah. So the crisis then was really finding the purpose and the meaning behind what I eventually feel that I can do in the long run. Going into the industry to teach about financial literacy, which I saw it as a gap beginning from my own family members first.
Wow.
Yeah, so it started with my own parents. My mom used to be a hawker, my dad used to be a taxi driver. So they are very hardworking people and they are great savers, but it's just that they are, I wouldn't even say poorly educated, they are just not educated in financial planning. Yeah, so I think I saw a huge gap, especially for the lower to middle income group. And I thought that, hey, if let's say more people are able to be more aware in this field, I think that would be great. Yeah, that's where I thought that I think this is the field that I would want to choose.
Oh, that's really good. I think that there's like this difference in the financial literacy between like parents' generation and our generation.
Yeah.
Because of the accessibility of like good content out there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really great. And I'm very appreciative with what you've shared. Thank you for sharing a little bit of background. Okay, so now perhaps we can jump into the topic proper. And okay, as you know, our channel is called Lifing Up 101 lah. So don't go too deep into insurance because it's a very, very complicated topic as well. So perhaps you can just start by sharing with us the type of insurance that a layman person or an individual should concern himself with. Yeah, so nothing too specific, but you know, what are the insurance out there for them to consider? Yeah.
So if I can help break down into simple terms, 2 types. You can look into health and you can look into wealth. Okay. So perhaps we talk a bit more in terms of health insurance. Of course, with COVID-19 situation, this would be many people's concern, right? So health insurance, we have the likes of what you would call it the hospitalization plan, accident plan, disability income, critical illnesses, and finally we call this thing called total permanent disability and death. Okay. So these are the broad 5 that I can think of. And of course, critical illnesses can branch out into many individual areas. For example, pregnancy complications or special condition like the likes of thyroid, gout, that is increasingly common, or even for children, ADHD, dyslexia, autism. Yeah. So these are the areas.
So there are specifically catered policies for this kind of illnesses, like specific illnesses, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And some could be embedded into some of the bigger critical illnesses policy as well. Yeah. So these are the branches out from the big category of critical illnesses, right? I can help you understand in very simple terms for hospitalization. In the event you stay in a hospital, stay in the hospital.
Which we hope that none of you will go there lah. Okay.
Yeah, so as long as you are in the hospital, staying there, your bills are more or less covered. Okay, when I say more or less covered, of course the details, I don't want to go into it. That will be based on the terms and conditions of the policy that you buy.
But it can be a percentage of full coverage, right?
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
But full coverage, if I'm not mistaken, it's no longer around anymore, right?
No longer around. The full version is only for people that have bought it long ago. But hospitalization cover is always changing. So it's good to get your updates from your respective financial advisor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So disclaimer alert, yeah. Please check your financial advisor.
Yeah. Okay, so that's for hospital. For accident, we look at anything that is outpatient. Yeah, so if I'm injured, oh no, I got rushed to a hospital perhaps, but the doctor perhaps they tell me, good thing you're not COVID-19. Don't stay in the hospital, cannot stay in the hospital. Maybe other patient need it more than you do. You have this injury, I scan it, it's just a fracture, you can just cast it and go home and rest. Or you can claim it under the accident insurance. Okay, of course it's on accidental basis. Yeah. Okay.
Do they actually do like a premium lump sum payment for accidents plan, or it's just a reimbursement of the cost of treatment?
Yeah, very good question. So you ask, it will usually be based on reimbursement basis, but up to the amount that you get yourself covered too as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Correct. And of course they also do have lump sum, but lump sum would mean the likes of accidental death or total permanent disability, the most serious ones.
Okay, I see. Which we hope that none of you will have to claim for that.
Right. That's for accident in a broad view. Then of course when we look at disability income, disability income is due to whichever reason that you are medically certified and based on, perhaps I would say, if the policy covers, if you are unable to work for a certain period of time, your income is actually protected. Yeah.
Okay, so it's actually to protect your wealth in the area.
Correct. Protect the salary that you are perhaps drawing. Yeah, a percentage of your salary perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's more of like your livelihood and your way of life that's being protected.
Yes. So perhaps day to day I need to be paying the bills for the house, the car, my children, etc., etc. So your monthly expenses are at least minimally covered.
Okay.
Yeah, in that aspect. Then you lose your job.
Which we hope that none of you will.
Yeah. So of course, then next we move on to critical illnesses. So there are many debates about, why is there a need for critical illnesses plan and all that. Partly also is tied down to hospitalization plan because there are certain critical illnesses that touch it, right? When anybody have been diagnosed, the treatment not necessarily means that you have to be staying in a hospital. It can be an outpatient treatment, right? So I think it is really to help you sustain your income and expenses in the event for the fact that you lose your job due to the critical illnesses that you need to go for, whether it's chemotherapy, go for multiple treatment follow-up and checkups and all that. So that is for a substitute for that also. So critical illnesses. And of course, we look at eventually total permanent disability or death is, of course, this is really a serious issue, right? So why would people need it, and why do some people feel that it is very important? It's potentially because they may have dependent, or you are independent and you do not want to be living on charity where you are asking perhaps your parents or your spouse to be paying the expenses while you are still alive but not able to work.
I see. So it's actually really a lot of planning and not to ensure that, I won't want to use this word, but so that you won't be a burden to other people financially in that area.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Thanks for sharing that, Yuan. So I think moving forward, so you did mention this is actually more for the health section, right? So I mean, of course, let's be practical. I think wealth in life is very important as well. So there's a need to protect it because it affects our way of life. So for wealth coverage, what kind of policies are there, and usually how does it usually function?
Okay. So for wealth, if I can put it very simply, there's the likes of typical savings plan, we call it the endowment plans, investment linked plans. Investment linked plans, of course, there are some that has insurance element inside, but there are some that is pure investment, right? And of course, retirement planning, right? And some of this, in recent times, due to the interest rate situation, there's also this thing called the premium financing or leveraging. Where people borrow money to help themselves make more money. Yeah, that's in the layman terms, right?
So it's like this only unique to this COVID situation, or like do people actually actively use this premium? What is it called? Premium financing.
Correct. So it's actually been around for quite a while. It's just that perhaps it's more advanced in terms of the planning for perhaps the higher net worth. Okay. Yeah, because that's where they are able to take on more risk to do leveraging. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So take for example, if let's say I am a parent and I'm looking to save up for my children's education, where potentially the kid might only need the money in maybe 20 years time or 25 years time, right? Depending whether it's a girl or a boy, right?
Army guys.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So if let's say from now I want to be saving for at least for the next 20 to 25 years, we can use a savings plan or even an investment plan, depending on the risk appetite of the individual also. Okay. Yeah, then that's where you should consult your financial advisor to understand a little, so that they can better advise you the kind of plans that is suitable for the particular objective that you are planning towards.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So basically, to sum it all up, it's basically health and wealth. For health, it's really to protect, to lower your risk or anything that happened to you. And for wealth, will be more towards accumulation, savings for a specific milestone.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good, and I think that with that, you guys are more or less, have an idea of where you want to be. It's not telling you what kind of policies to buy, but at least you know what kind of questions to ask to make a sound decision from there. So okay, now that we have touched on the products that's out there in the market, is there a specific milestone or specific junctures in life that we have to at times perhaps reevaluate our policies? Yeah.
So perhaps the different juncture that you can look into considering some changes. Of course, getting married, right? Okay. You're no longer one person. You have another person to consider now.
Yeah.
Right? Birth of your child, right? Okay. Or adoption, right? Which is very common now. That's where you have a dependent with you, right? Anything happen to the breadwinner,
something you have to cover, make sure that you're covered for the child as well.
Correct. The child can't just go become an orphan and there's nothing left, or unless that's not the route they want to go into as an irresponsible parent, right? Or a provider, right? A breadwinner. So that's one. Another one we can look into is perhaps when you there are some people that they reconsider is when they change their job. Right? Okay. So job change is potentially sometimes they depend on their old company insurance policy in terms of medical coverage. Okay. So when they are dependent on that and they didn't get adequate cover for their own personal ones, when they move company, that
they don't have that coverage anymore.
Yeah, that needs to be evaluated. That's one. And of course, sometimes when people job change, they either have a pay rise or they have a pay cut. Right? That's where you also need to relook into the allocation of your finances. Whether are you overtaxed on your premium that you are paying, or are you undercovered, or is there more that can be done for perhaps wealth accumulation towards some of the goals and dreams that you're looking at. So all of these phases, right, doesn't mean that you need to buy a plan at all. It may just mean that you are relook into your existing cash flow and finances, just to have conversation with your financial advisor. Yeah.
Okay, and I believe that you will always constantly have to involve a financial advisor in these different milestones as well. So disclaimer alert, we're not here to tell you what policies to buy. We're here to tell you during these specific times, perhaps you should look into your policies and get your financial advisor to advise you accordingly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and one thing I think I missed out also is the area where, of course, touch wood, in the event the passing of the loved ones. Correct. Or passing of the spouse or whoever that's in the family. That's where finances needs to be reallocated and looked into as well.
Understood. Okay, so actually at the back of my head, I got one as well, which I missed out, which is birthdays. Is it true that birthday? Because I mean, I'm very kiasu one so whenever my birthday come out, right? Because this year I'm actually hitting the big 3. Then I always call my agents. I say, hey, the premium will rise or drop, So when you say that, when birthdays come, is a milestone in life that we have to reevaluate our portfolios.
You can consider that if you are looking at, of course, when you cross a certain, I would say, age range, right? That's where your insurance premium jump, right?
Okay.
And that's where, of course, your cost of insurance is more expensive. And if you want to get yourself, you know that there are gaps in your portfolio, and you want to quickly get yourself covered, that's definitely one good thing to consider.
Okay.
But if you are very well covered already, please do not use birthday to get any more unnecessary policies.
She's just being very nice lah. Because okay, so I'll put it layman term, but if you're very kiasu, right? Okay, every birthday please go and check your premium. Yeah. Okay, so Yuan, really thank you very much for sharing whatever that you have shared earlier. I think it's been very informative, and at least I hope that our viewers will be able to know the 101s and ask the right questions with their advisors and consultants to finalize policies that are most appropriate for them. So with that, perhaps I can move into a more personal question, okay, if you don't mind. So I think this question would be, like many other industries, I think even in the financial consulting industry as a career, there are a lot of challenges that you guys face. Can you share one main challenge that you guys face, and how do you keep going on, despite this challenge?
Okay, so back when I first started, when I just joined the industry, I think it's the stigma and the skepticism of the industry that it is really there, and perhaps it's still there, right? Because I myself personally have stigma against it last time, right? Because of the background where my mom previously, when I was younger, she bought policies before. She tried to make certain claims, but of course, my mom is Chinese speaking, right? Many of these insurance, in terms of the black and white terms and conditions, they are all in English. So it's a bit hard for her to understand or fully comprehend what are some of the information that's being indicated as well. So I'm not too sure whether is it she's not able to understand, or whether is it the advisor back then didn't communicate to her adequately. Then of course, when there's a gap in the information that's being translated, right, of course, it resulted, the result of it is that I was brought up in an environment where my mom would say that insurance not people, right? Yeah, so it's that kind of mindset that I had. So when I came into this industry, my mom was also the very first one that told me, you better explain every individual of the T's and C's to your friends and to your clients, okay? So I was like, okay, I got it. Yeah. And I think that really helped, because ultimately when I first joined the industry, like I shared earlier, it's really looking to educate on financial literacy, right? So to me, plus my mom's background like that, I honestly see all of this as very, very important details that needs to be communicated, right? And I think that it is important for people to be educated to know what is right and what is maybe limited for them to get. So that was when I feel that even though it's a stigma, but ultimately if the intent and the interest is true, then I should be fine, right? And I'm very thankful really that when I first started, I have many good friends around me who trusted me in terms of my character as a friend towards them. So they gave me the opportunity to share with them, to review their policies. And I think that regardless, it's always good to have more than one opinion, right? Because every advisor, we plan differently for people, right? So some are more wealth-centric, perhaps, right? Some are a bit more convicted in the area of insurance. Some, depending on what their perception or how they deal with their client. The client servicing experience could be a bit different here and there. So I think it really depends on what is the kind of advisor that you're looking out for. These are the areas that you can consider. And I think when I saw that my friends and the loved ones around me, they appreciate what I'm doing, and they saw that the interest is genuine, right? I think that gives me a lot of satisfaction to know that whatever that I'm doing is right. At least for me, I think so.
It's like the approval, right?
The approval, and they say that it's really helpful. I have actually value added to them. It was something that they have never heard. Perhaps the ex-advisor mentioned before, or perhaps they have never saw it in this light. Then they say that I have now better perspective on different viewpoints. It's good. And they might not even need to buy any policies from me. So I thought that, hey, this is good. Okay, so I thought that, okay, this should be it.
That's good. I'm really glad that you found your purpose in your job. Really. And just for the record, actually I'm going to explain this in the video, but my wife and I actually got to know Yuan Bing through one of the initiatives by a company. So we were actually sourcing out for a policy for our newborn, And we decided to embark on the policy with Yuan because of how detailed she was. And just how upfront and real she was, like with her sharing, like, okay, this is the policy, what it covers, what it don't covers. And I must say that she has been extremely relentless with her claims, because my wife actually fell after her delivery in hospital, accidentally. And yeah, Yuan was very, very relentless and very supportive during that very troubled time. And my wife and I, we are very thankful for the help that you have given us. Yeah, and just a word for all viewers out there, please be nice to your insurance and financial advisors, because not all of them are out there to scam you. In fact, majority of them really want to help you, okay? So be nice, alright? Okay, and with that, actually, we hope that you have found value in the content that we have provided, and that you know the 101s of insurance, and you're on your way to embark on finding the most appropriate policy for yourself and your loved ones. So please work with your financial consultants, and we'll see you in the next episode. Till then, stay safe and life up. Hi guys, thank you once again for watching our videos, and we hope that our content has been useful for you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and feel free to drop us a comment should you have any questions, and we will love to explore them with you. Till then, stay safe and life up.